Well, all of this comes as the FDA could authorize a COVID booster shot for people who have weakened immune systems in the next 48 hours. And joining us right now with the very latest on that is Seminole County Health Director Dr. Todd Husty. Good to see you. How are you, Doc?
I'm good, Amy. Thank you very much for having me on and putting the news out there.
Well, listen, this is something we've been talking about for a while, right? There is concern that people who got vaccinated back in January or February, they may not have very many antibodies left and might need that third dose. What do you think is going to be happening with this approval process?
I think it's going to come pretty quickly. It's been pretty well proven in Israel, which was 2 months ahead of us, that they were losing their immunity after about 6 months. The studies coming out now, including some from Florida itself, are saying that we're losing immunity after 6 months. So we need to have a booster. And that's not just for the people who have weakened immune systems. They should probably go first, and the elderly should go first. But they also got their shots first, so they'll be falling off first.
Right, which makes sense. Do you think that we're going to sort of see, gosh, I remember when the vaccine first came out, there were lines everywhere. It was crazy. Now you can go just about anywhere and get a vaccine, no problem. Do you think we're going to go back to seeing lines again as the elderly line up to go get vaccinated?
No, I think we've got so many people doing it now in so many places where they do it. I know that in Seminole County, I've talked to Alan Harris a number of times and Donna Walsh, and they've been planning on setting up for boosters for over a month now, just knowing what to do. I don't think it's going to be as drastic as it was when they first came out.
Well, Doc, the other thing we're hearing is that, they're maybe recommending this for Pfizer or Moderna people, right? But not necessarily J&J people. What do you think about people who've already gotten the third shot? Maybe they got an extra shot because they got the J&J, they were concerned. Or what about mixing the shots? What if you got the Pfizer and you decide to get a third Moderna? Does any of that matter?
If you're doing either one of the almost identical twins, Moderna and Pfizer, it's really almost interchangeable. That's what the CDC and everybody else has said. If you had J&J and we start recommending that you get another shot, it probably doesn't matter which one you get. We'll wait for a little bit more advisement on that. Obviously, J&J came out a little bit later, so that those people are not falling off in their immunity yet. Back to the study that came out, is Moderna has lost less effectiveness than Pfizer. That study, on a national conference call, they kind of said, I got to look at the range of when people had their vaccines, because that probably is more having to do with when they got their vaccines, if it was a long time ago. So that I wouldn't put too much weight on that study just yet.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think a lot of people who got the Pfizer shot are thinking, oh gosh, that's 42% doesn't sound so hot.
No, it's actually, so they kind of thought that when in Israel, but then they restudied that not in Israel, and as it turns out, that's why we figured out in Israel it was because the vaccines were wearing off, the immunity was wearing off. So let's not change anything right now. As a matter of fact, we're pretty darn sure that Pfizer and Moderna are pretty effective against the Delta so far.
All right, that's good to hear. Let's talk about kids under 12. We keep hearing that they're working on it, that they're doing the trials. Do you think that that's going to come out sooner than later?
It is going to come out sooner than later. We're just so protective of our kids and our pregnant women. Remember, at first, pregnant women were told, nah, maybe you shouldn't get it. Now we're saying, yes, you should. So, and that's because we're just so careful about what we give to these people who are a little bit more sensitive and have. So, on the other hand, is that vaccines are pretty darn safe in kids, and these vaccines have proven to be very, very safe. It's going to come out real soon. I'm sure of it.
All right, Dr. Todd Husty, we always appreciate your time and your expertise. You're the best. Thanks for being with us.